In our next discussion, we are going to discuss diseases, and we are going to look at causes and also the signs in which these diseases portray themselves or manifest in themselves when our goats are sick. We have a range of diseases, and how do we know that an animal is sick? By just looking at them. The first sign of illness, to show that the animal is sick, is the behavior, how they behave. One is that they are restless, meaning when an animal is sick, it keeps on either moving or depending on how painful they are feeling. So they show a sign of not being comfortable. The other behavior that this particular goat shows is the animal is standing alone when others are sleeping. So this is a sign to show you that the animal is not. For goats, they have a behavior of moving together. So if an animal is behaving in a way that it shows it is not with the others, meaning that that animal could be having an illness. The other one is loss of appetite. The animal does not want to eat at all. So this is another sign that a farmer can look at the animal and tell that this animal is sick. The other sign that can show that an animal is not feeling well is holding their head down, or they don't want to raise their heads, they just want to face down. So it shows that the animal is not active. The other one is the rough coat. Normally the skin of the animal has, the hair is well laid on, but in this case you can see the animal, the hair is rough. That is a sign that shows that the animal is not well. Another way to show that the animal is sick is dull eyes. Normally the eyes are well, they are watery, and also they are full, but if the animal is dull, it could be a sign that the animal is as well sick. This is another behavior, is an opposite of this. The animal does not want to sleep when others are sleeping. He said that goats, they behave the same, and if you see such a case, you realize that the animal is not well. Now, these are signs that you can just see and you just tell, but there are other signs that you must test and tell which disease is this animal ailing from. For example, by looking at these signs, you cannot tell which disease the animal is ailing from, but there's what we call diagnosis. Diagnosis can only be done by the veterinary or somebody who is trained in treating the animal to know that apart from these signs, which other signs or which other parameters can be tested to know that the animal is ailing from which disease. For example, temperatures, there can be blood samples or even the fecal samples, urine samples, which can also tell the animal is sick and what disease. Other common signs include shivering, bloating, which has a bulged stomach. We also have other cases whereby the goat salivation. Others are coughing. We also have other cases of animal falling. Other signs is pale gums, because the blood is well distributed, and in such a case you can also tell that the animal is anemic. So those are some of the signs that can tell that animals are sick. Where do these diseases come from? Let's look at the possible causes of diseases. Where do these diseases come from? The first possible cause of a disease is a parasite. And in this case, we have exoparasites and also we have endoparasites. Uh, Parasites, in most cases, they are vectors of diseases. And these parasites, if a case happens or if a disease happens, in most cases, it's either a viral or even a protozoan disease. An example of an exoparasite are ticks. And ticks, they are known to cause a number of diseases like anaplasmosis or even babiosis. So those are some of the diseases that can be caused by the parasites. For other parasites, these are the worms. Uh, the worms also they compete with they compete by feeding on the animal and they can cause cases like anemia. We have viruses. Viruses also are possible cause of a disease. An example of a viral disease is the foot and mouth disease, which is very common in goats. Um, we have another cause of disease is a bacterial disease. All the bacteria also cause a possible cause of diseases. An example of bacterial disease common is the CPP, the contagious caprine, the pneumonia, or even the anthrax. Those are the common bacterial disease. Among others, we are going to look at the next section. The fungal disease. The fungi also, they are capable of causing diseases, and an example of fungal is the ringworms. Ringworms can also lead to other infections. The other case that can lead to diseases, and it's common these days, is cancer. And cancer, as we know, it is the abnormal growth of cell, and this can cause diseases. And we have types of cancer. We have those cancers which spreads when they attack the animal, they spread the whole body. In this case, we talk about the malignant cancers, and we have other those which are localized, and they are called benign. And these cancers, they can lead to an animal being sick because they interfere with the system of the animal. Other causes of diseases is the congenital anomalies. For congenital anomalies or congenital disorders, these are cases where the animal is being born with a problem. They inherit a problem from the mother. And in such a case, we have hydrocephalus, whereby you find a kid goat has a very big head, which is full of water. So that can also be a cause of a disease. The other causes of diseases is the metabolic disorders. Metabolism. We have a case like acidosis. We have cases like acidosis where we have when an animal feeds on flour or maize flour, it develops an acid in the lumen, and this increases the acidic in the body, and in such a case we call it acidosis. So that is also a cause of a disease because this one can later cause a secondary infection to the animal. The other one is dietary problems. Dietary problems, for example, malnutrition. However, if the animal lacks some of the minerals, we talked about them earlier, it can develop a problem. Like if you have a case of iron deficiency, the animal can be anemic. Or in case of calcium, the dairy, especially the dairy goats, can have a milk fever. Other causes of diseases is the environmental diseases, and this especially is when the animal feeds on, say for example, polythene bags, plastics, metals, or nails, whereby after the animal ingests a metallic material, either it blocks the GIT, or even if it's a sharp object, it pierces the GIT. For example, the intestines can damage the reticulum or even the lungs. So these are some of the causes of diseases, and we are going now to look at the diseases, each and every one.